Okay, there was supposed to be a fun video this week. I decided to improve my skill, and so I thought what I would do is take the same riff and just play it, or chord progression. Anyway, let me show you that part first. All right, so this week, instead of rebuilding a guitar or doing something like that, I'm actually going to practice and try to get better at something. So I've picked a simple Hendrix-ish, Hendrix-E chord progression that involves getting a little more technical with each layer. You've got to get the chords, you've got to get the rhythm, then you've got to wrap your thumb over the neck, and then you've got to throw in some embellishments because you like to throw in some grace notes. So I'm going to put a recording of the first time I tried this, which was last night about 4 o'clock in the morning, and hopefully by the end of the week, which should be about maybe 6 days, by Saturday, I will have a much better handle on it. I'm going to work on it at least twice a day for at least 5 minutes at a time. Anyway, welcome to the process. Right, easy project, just show the development and how I learn. Not a big deal, simple process. But, like with most things, I decided to take a simple process and make it more complicated. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to be playing the same thing over and over and over again for at least 5 minutes, twice a day. I'm going to get incredibly bored. So, I figured I'd swap out guitars today and then at least maybe try to see if we could get a tone comparison going. See, it seems simple. Learn something new, progressively practice it over and over again, not to the point where you're going to wear yourself out with it, but just keep doing it over and over again. Switch out guitars, that way you can compare tones. Every time I do one of these tone comparisons, I end up in trouble. And this one, it's big. So me being me, I got really ambitious. 8 different guitars. I had the customized Mitchell MM100 with the P90-esque pickups in it. I had the Lyxpro 30-inch Telecaster copy. I had my problem child, the custom Strat Mini, Squier Mini. I had the Gemini, which is another custom Squier Mini. I had my Squier Stratosonic, which is a full size. I had my other Squier Paranormal, which is the Cabronita. Then I had my G&L Doheny Tribute, and I had my American Standard Fender Limited Edition with the humbucking pickup and I think fat 50s in the neck and in the middle position. So 8 different guitars and 8 different sounds, all run through the same processor, through the same amp, into the same computer program. I didn't even change levels or anything except for the G&L. I had to back the G&L off. It's got some of the magnetic field dampening pickups in it, and it's just so much hotter than anything else. But basically, the problem that I'd noticed was in the comparison. If you weren't looking, just listen. So you're thinking, where's the problem? There are two different guitars. They obviously have two different sounds. What's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal. All right, so here is one of the guitars that was just played. Now, it's not the exact guitar, but it is the same run, same line. All the details are the same. And the pick guard is not original. Mine has the original pick guard. It has the original nut, the whole bit. I don't have moderate wear, but you can tell it's set up pretty well. I did a decent job of it, and my friend Barry set it up before I did. And so basically, you see it's sold out, but the price on this generally runs around $1,000 used, well used. And so that's one of the guitars that you just heard. All right, now this is the other guitar that you heard. Brand new, out of the box, literally. It has been intonated. I haven't even put fresh strings on it. But basically, this is the other guitar that you listen to. So you've got a 10, 11, 12-year-old Fender American Strat that usually goes for around $1,000, or a Lyxpro 30-inch electric guitar TL series that usually goes for about $90. But wait, there's more, because there's this. And this. What? My blood sugar was fine. So, the problem with those last two samples is those are the two that I actually enjoy as far as the feel of the guitars as well as the tone. I enjoy those more than either the $90 one, which makes me feel good, but I also enjoy generally the tone and the feel of those to the $1,000 Stratocaster, and they're nowhere near that expensive. Okay, so I like the sound and the feel of the more inexpensive guitars to the American Standard. It's not a big deal. I can always dial in an amp or make some modest, some changes with the equipment that I have, and I can make any guitar that I've got pretty much sound like almost anything that I want within reason. But that wasn't the really distressing thing that I've figured out. This is where I first noticed the problem. This is a G&L Doheny, and it's a great guitar. It sounds fantastic, but I really struggled playing it, even though I've been working on my hand strength for a couple of months. The Cabronita wasn't much better. It's only slightly smaller, about maybe 3/4 of an inch, but I was still struggling making the transitions. And it's not the new thing that I'm learning, it's just the guitar itself. Same scale length, same neck as on the Cabronita. Same struggle. 4 minutes in, my hand's already cramping and I just don't have the strength to finish this simple chord progression. Still, it's not all bad news. This scale length is just another 3/4 of an inch shorter. No hand cramps. Not a difficult time at all. It's a Gibson scale length with a Fender guitar, so it still has that C-shaped neck that I love. My hands are still good for that. My hands are still good for some things, however. So if you thought my major concern at the end of this was going to be the fact that the guitar that's 10 times cheaper didn't sound 10 times worse, then you've drawn your own conclusion to that. I can tell the difference between the two of them, not just in the sound, but also in the feel. And the Strat which was the more full sound. I had a wider spectrum of sound between those two comparisons at the beginning. You can tell that's the Strat if your ear's trained at all, and it's a legacy instrument. One of the reasons that it is still as expensive as it is because it's the kind of instrument you can hand down to your kid. That Lyxpro 30 is the kind of instrument you give to your kid when your kid is a kid, and you can set it up to play reasonably well. And if you've got a young player or someone along those lines, it's a good guitar to start with. And that's where my conclusion of difficulty comes in. That Doheny, the Cabronita, and the Strat are instruments that I can't play for 2 songs. I can't play longer than that. My hands, my left hand just won't participate fully with that. And it was really a struggle to even play the 3 takes that I allow myself in order to do any of these recordings with those. And I noticed afterward I had to take a break before I could play anything else. I recorded those this afternoon, and my hands were still a little bit sore about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. I could still feel the evidence of it. So even though I've been doing exercises for 2 months and I've been playing the minis, I don't know if I'm going to get back to a point where I can go back to the full size, which pretty much puts me in a position to make some decisions. But I'm also very thankful that the sound and the feel of the ones that I really enjoyed happened to be the Jiminy, was the second one, and the Problem Child, which now that it's set up correctly, I happen to absolutely love. So I can still play the Stratosonic without much problem. But if it starts to go away, I'm eventually going to have to come back to the point where I have to figure out how to get P90s in a Mini, because I like that sound. So that's where I came down. So neither of the projects that I set out to do this week am I going to end up being able to do. I'm not going to be able to do the tone comparison. And for starters, I just don't want to make you have to listen to that riff over and over anymore. But I'm also, I'm going to keep playing, and maybe I'll pop, that's only 15-20 seconds long. Maybe at the end of the week, I'll fire up the Jiminy or the Problem Child and play that little progression and see where it's gone. Because I'm not going to quit practicing it. I'm not going to quit playing. But it just reminds me that the Mini Guitar Society is apparently not just a lark or a joke. It's where I'm going to be. So I'm going to order some merch, maybe get a license plate for my car and some fridge magnets. And if anybody can figure out how to get a Squier mini banner or a carpet or whatever that I can put on my wall instead of that Fender thing, because who knows, in 6 to 8 months, I may not even have a Fender in this house. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great night, and thanks for spending time with me. Go play.